my channel at You Love Kisses. I'm here collabing with
Ronnie Ryan.
and we're here with
First Sergeant Belcher.
So today we're going to be interviewing First Sergeant. Why don't you introduce yourself, First Sergeant?
My name is First Sergeant Belcher. I am the Bravo Company First Sergeant for H&S Battalion at Marine Corps Installation here in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Okay, nice to meet you, First Sergeant.
Even though I see you.
The first question is, what is it like being the rank that you are, and what piece of advice can you give to junior Marines trying to achieve going up in the rank?
I could say being a first sergeant is really rewarding. I always had the admirers to be a master sergeant. Anybody who know me know I want to do it, but I kind of changed my focus a little, became a staff sergeant and a gunny because I wanted to like impact the Marines more and be more involved with the Marines and their progression and helping them with their career. So it kind of made me switch, and like being a first sergeant is like one of the most rewarding jobs because you're like there for the well-being of the Marines and the defense outside of their actual direct chain of command to take care of them and to help mold the future of the Marine Corps. I know that's right.
Describe basic training in 3 words and what helped you get through.
I can say, for me, I went to boot camp in 2007, so it was a little different. I know. I can say it was challenging because it's difficult. I think when I was a recruiter, I used to tell all the females that we was one of the most challenging branches. And at that time, it was only 7% female, which now I still think is, we're like at 9%, still not that big. So challenging is one. I can say rewarding because, again, to be a part of like 7% of the Marine Corps or even of the Armed Forces is a big thing. So I can give you that to say that we did 13 weeks. And, you know, everybody knows it's not an easy 13 weeks. And then I can say life-changing because it is a true transformation. Once you actually leave Marine Corps boot camp, you're a different person. And it takes like 3 weeks to change you on your whole mindset because I wasn't like the most easy child growing up. So I can say like it was a life-changing experience.
And do you remember like the first day being on the footsteps, how you felt?
So I'm from Georgia. So I was born in America, Georgia, but then I went to high school in Decatur, Georgia. So for me, at first, it wasn't too difficult from where I was coming from, but it was just like a little aggravating at first. Yeah. But then like when they started yelling, I was like, my mom yelling at me. It's like, this ain't nothing. But then the other stuff started to come and I was like, okay, it's a little different. Like they serious, right? They was doing a little too much. So I do remember it, like putting the heads down, getting on the yellow footprints and like everything just moving so fast. So it was definitely, I say challenging at that because you couldn't say nothing back, you know. Yeah. Usually we try to.
The female Marine, being a leader to other female Marines, what would you say is the most valuable lesson you could teach them?
I can say one of the most, like everybody who know me, I think I try to empower our female Marines because again, we are small and that's like one of the things I like always look up to, but to be their self and actually stop with like the cattiness of like female Marines because it's something about us, we don't always get along. But we never have each other back. So I try to like tell Marines to like females to like remember that sisterhood because at the end of the day, we only have each other. So we go out and we do things because we are 7 to 9% of the Marine Corps. So it's difficult. It's even in the Armed Forces, it's difficult. There's a lot of stuff happen. So like try to be that sister and like lean up and sometimes give people grace. Like we're not all perfect. It's okay for us to mess up because as female Marines, we are hard on ourselves. I can tell you, I am very hard on myself and we tend to be hard on each other, but we have to give each other grace and be a backbone and an inspiration to all. So I do, that's probably the advice I'll give them. Yeah. And like, especially leading female Marines, I think it's more times I told females, they come in here, hey, like even any Marine, they come in here, I'm like, hey, if you need to cry, like, hey, you sit on the couch, you shut the door, you cry in the bathroom, but when you walk out this door, you got to put your head up, put your chin up, and you got to show people like, that's the reason why we here. Like we bosses for a reason. Like, can't everybody do our job? Like they don't have to go home and be a mother. Some male Marines, they do have to go home and be single fathers. But again, for us, the world look at us different because of our gender.
And I feel like we have to work harder
we do.
To show.
Yes, they always try to prove ourselves and everything. So I just tell them, like, just if you're going to do it, like, do it behind closed doors. But when you walk out, you don't let no one see that fear on your face and just be genuine, be you. And, like, help your sister to the left, right. If you think she messed up, hey, correct her in private and be like, girl, but when we walk out of here, you got to get it together. Like, we got to help each other. Like, we got to pick each other up to the top. We can't leave each other down. Like if your sister's falling, let me get your hand and take you with me. But I'm not leaving you back here. So I think that's like my advice to each other. Like look out for each other. We can't make it to the top without leaving some of our sisters on the ground.
And I say that it's inspirational because I don't see like a lot of mess sergeants or first sergeants as females and everything.
Yes, that's why you always come in here messing with me.
Our question is, what motivates you every day to keep pushing and motivate others?
Everything. And I was a sergeant at this time too, because I used to had an attitude. So he was just like, whatever you do out here, like you be yourself. And then I took that with me everywhere. Like everybody, even though I took that with me now after recruiting duty. And then it's kind of when I think about it, it was like before I even met him, it's like trying to be myself and not try to be nobody else and like conform to things that they want. Like you can still do your job in the Marine Corps. You can still do everything that they ask you, but you can still be genuinely yourself. You don't have to switch up and try to be in little cliques just because they want you to be this type of way. You be yourself. If you don't drink, don't force yourself to drink because you're hanging out with people that drink. If you don't go to the clubs, don't go to clubs. Like you still can be yourself. You can come get your job done. You can do everything you can, but just be yourself and don't change for no one.
Okay,
So,
I like
that. Yeah. What would you tell somebody that's considering re-enlisting?
Re-enlisting? Right now, I love the Marine Corps. I know it sounds cliche, but I do because when you go in the civilian world, I like try to tell a lot of Marines, it's not the same. Like going out, like we know, like this is probably like the easiest institution you can actually be in. Like you can go, we have days where your family gets sick. They like, okay, go home. You do that in the civilian world, people gonna be like, okay, you got PTO, use your PTO. Yeah. But it's so much. It's the benefits in it. And it's not just like the military benefits. It's like the family environment, being around people, the atmosphere, like just being around people that genuinely care, they got something in common with you. So I think they should do it and then like use it to their advantage. Like if you have been in and if you've been in 4 years and you haven't got that college degree, don't get out. Like you let the Marine Corps use you for 4 years. The next 4 years is dedicating you to get your degree. You need to go get some certificates. You need to go travel. You need to save. Like use them for the same thing on use you for because they just use you for 4 years, so now use them back. So like when you think about it, it's like the easiest thing you can do to get what you want and get ahead in life. Exactly. So that's why I would look at. But again, even when it comes to re-enlisting, it's not for everybody. Like the Marine Corps is not like a be-all do-all. Like if I get out, I'm not gonna be like, you're not gonna be successful. You'll be successful either way. It's just the person and just use the values and the stuff that you taught, like learned in the Marine Corps. But if they don't want to re-enlist, I say get out as well because this is not what everybody signed up to be, and it's not like always the best thing. Exactly. It's just let life be life, and then stuff happens. You just do what life tell you to do, and if it's to get out, you get out and go be successful, and you go be great. If you want to stay in and use them, stay in to be great. But I would tell them just do it like their heart want them to do. Don't let no one steer your judgment on what you want to do. Exactly. I'm about to go be a nurse.
First sergeant over here, preach.
What was your prior MOS before becoming a first sergeant?
So, I was the best MOS in the Marine Corps, raw, of 0621. Whoop, whoop. Transmissions, we was called radio operators back then, but now they're transmission system operators. When I picked up staff, I became a transmissions chief. So our job was to do like all the radio communication. Without comm, nobody can talk. This was best MOS in the Marine Corps. 06.
Did you choose that MOS first sergeant?
I did not. So let me tell you what happened. When I went to MCT back in 2007, when they told us our job, I signed for it. It said command and control electrician. So I thought I was going to be an electrician. So when I got to MCT, when we was in the woods, they tell us like one of the heights, they'll tell you your job, and they was like, Miles, radio, and I was like, what? And then I was like, what is that? And then I got there, and I was like, oh, the school's in California. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. We woke up and we was in 29 Palms, California. That is not California, even though it is. It was the desert, but we was in 29 Palms, and I was like, oh my God, where did they send me? But it kind of worked out in my favor. It was good. It was all in good shape. And then I ended up going back as a sergeant and being an instructor at the MOS school.
How do you handle stress in the military and keeping a healthy, positive mindset?
I say a village. You got to have a village of people that you can talk to. An outlet is like the biggest thing, because a lot of people are afraid of the stigma of talking and going to like mental health and all that stuff. But I'm a big firm believer in that. Actually doing that, because I had a tragic happen to me in like 2022 where my brother was murdered while I was at ITX. And when I tell you, one of my friends was at my unit in the rear, and when I tell you she got me out of 29 Palms in Georgia so fast, I don't know what she did, but she was supplied. Matt turned to both. She hooked it up. But having that village, and then like during that whole time, I had friends like sending my mom's stuff, coming to the house, and they was a real good village. So like having those people there, an outlet to talk to, and then just remembering like you have people looking up to you. So
what are your hardest challenges as a first sergeant?
I think it's y'all. No, just kidding. Hardest challenges, trying to be there for everybody. Because sometimes you like you kind of overexert yourself, because you have one Marine have this issue, or you have this Marine having this issue, and it's like only one of you, and it's like 500 of y'all. So trying to help everybody else, I think that's probably like the only challenge. And then trying to fight for y'all, because everybody know one thing I'm doing. I'm gonna fight for y'all. Y'all come in here, I'll be like, look, you tell me this what you want, I'm gonna fight for you. But if a Marine walk in his office right now and be like, hey y'all, we gotta stop. Like, I gotta help that Marine.
What are the pros to being a first sergeant?
The pros. Oh man. I think being a voice for y'all is probably the pro, because again, Marines come in here with issues that they can't talk to their leadership, or leadership can't talk to the Marines, and just being like a voice for the Marines, and like even when it comes to the battalion, being a voice for y'all when y'all want things. I think that's like one of the biggest pros.
Have you been in the military, and did you choose to be a first sergeant?
I've been in 17 years.
Oh, that's nice.
Look, I know. It's real close. Like I smell it. And I did the way that I don't know if y'all know the way that it worked for first sergeants. When we were gunnery sergeant, you have to put on your fitness report if you want to be a master sergeant or a first sergeant. On all my fitness reports, again, like I said earlier, I wanted to be a master sergeant. Like it was almost my goal to stay in comm. I used to always tell people, I'm going to be the first female comm in the Marine Corps. I'm going to be the first female monitor. Like I went to the artillery unit. I was in comm battalion. I did the schoolhouse. So I was doing everything to do it. And then I was in my last unit, and I was in MWSS 273, and I had a good sergeant major, some good first sergeants, and they was talking to me, and they was like, you'll be a really good first sergeant. And I was like, I don't have no first sergeant. And then I had one of my mentors that was a master guns. He told me something. I just never understood it. He was like, Bill, you'll be a good mass sergeant, but you'll be an amazing sergeant major. And I was like, what? I was like, you can't even do that. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you'll be a good mass sergeant, but an amazing sergeant major. And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, even though you're good at comm, I feel like you're going to be amazing because of like how you feel about the Marines and how you do everything. Yes. So I took that, and everybody talked to me. So my last fit rep, I was like, I'm gonna put an F on there and let it say first sergeant. I was like, I'm gonna let God choose for me. And a couple months later, God chose, and he made me a first sergeant. And I said, look, I just adjust. You got to do what you got to do. It was like a big pill to swallow, but I had like great mentors, like Sergeant Major Kirby. She was one of my mentors. She was like the first one to call me. I was crying like, oh my God, I don't want to be a first sergeant. And she talked me off the ledge and was like, look, this is you got this. And she even mentored me, a lot of the female sergeant majors, male sergeant majors. So they kind of like talked me off. And then I kind of, now that I'm in the actual seat as a first sergeant, I can see what he was saying, where I was going to be an amazing sergeant major. I can tell you about the Marine Corps. Some days it's not the best days, but it's a family that you can lean on.
Okay, thank you, First Sergeant. This concludes the interview. We thank you for your time.